Hi, I'm Norman, and in this week's Frosty Friday challenge, we are looking at the marketplace and user-defined functions. The Snowflake marketplace allows us to buy and sell data as providers and/or consumers. For our use case here, we are gathering data on US patent grants and applying a custom function on this data. User-defined functions, or UDFs, can be thought of as a repeatable process that can be saved for later and/or shared with colleagues. Suppose, for example, every quarter, finance calculate revenue by multiplying quantity sold with amount. Rather than calculate the formula each and every time, we can save the logic and applying it by inputting the two parameters. With that, let's jump in to our Snowflake instance. We're going to start by sourcing our data from the marketplace. Heading over to the left-hand side, in the gray panel, we have marketplace. From here, I'm going to search by keying in the name of the dataset, US patent grant. And from the list of options, select the first one, which brings us some metadata about this particular dataset, showing publications dating back all the way through to January 76. We also have, if we scroll down, a data dictionary tracking the columns, the data types, as well as a description. So let's go ahead and download or request this dataset by clicking on the blue button on the right hand side. If this is the first time and you are following along, then optionally we can specify which roles and users within our Snowflake instance should have access to this dataset. Having already completed this step, I'm now going to head back to the data panel on the left-hand side, where we should see among the different databases in our Snowflake instance, one for US patent grants. Within this database, we have two schemas, the standard default information schema, along with our data specific schema, which itself has or is made up of 4 different views: tracking patent index, contributions, contributor index, as well as a data catalog. To complete this exercise, we are going to make use of a mixture of these views, and so inevitably our SQL script is going to require some sort of join. With that being said, let's actually jump in to a Snowflake worksheet. Heading over to the left-hand side, selecting worksheets, and popping open a new SQL worksheet. I'm going to specify the the database and schema to Frosty Friday challenge, schema public. Having configured the environment and sourced the data, we're now ready to tackle the second part of this week's challenge, which is to create a function. So let's go ahead and start by creating a function that accepts three different arguments: the application date, the document publication date, as well as the patent type. Our function returns varchar, and we're going to explicitly specify the handler or the programming language as SQL, as Snowflake does support other programming languages as well. The logic for our function itself is going to make use of the case statement, and what we're looking for is the patent type of reissue, along with a date difference of less than 365 days or 1 year between the time an application was made and its publication date. Okay, so the logic here has got to meet both criteria: less than 365 days and a patent type of reissue. If both conditions are met, then return true. The other criteria tracks the patent type design and asks for an interval or period of less than 2 years. Okay. If neither of these conditions are met, return the word false. So let's go ahead and create this function. From here, we can test the logic of the function by simulating edge cases. So here I've specified a date difference of 1 day, and I'd expect this to return a value of true. And the second instance simulates a gap of, 2020 and 2023, so about 3 years, which I'd expect to return false. Let's go ahead and execute that. And indeed, that is what we find. Happy with the logic, we can actually apply our function now to the dataset using a select statement within a create or replace view definition. So our select statement is going to return a handful of columns, as well as apply the function we created earlier and output it as a view. So let's go ahead and run this SQL statement. All that remains is to query the results of the view and verify that our function has been applied consistently. Now, depending on the size of the warehouse, this may take some time, as the dataset is large and we are applying a calculation to it. All right, so let's go ahead and open up the results panel and take a look at one or two records. Looking at our first row, we have an application date submitted in 2019 with a publication date of 2022, returning a value of false, okay, within the patent type of design, which is consistent with the logic we applied in the definition of the function. And if we go ahead and do the same check for the last row record, where an application was filed in 2015 with a publication date of 2019, indicating a gap of 4 years within the patent type of reissue, I'd expect a result of false, which indeed is the case. And with that, we've successfully completed the exercise, having sourced data from the marketplace and applied a custom function. If you found this useful, go ahead, like and subscribe for more such content. Thanks for watching. As they say in my hometown, don't forget to be awesome.